Hello, Kenyans. Welcome back to my spot. This is where I usually ask you to come and let us reason together. And on this, Kenyans, let's gather here. And I'm very, very, very serious on this. Nataka kuongea nitoke. Gather here. Kenyans, gather here. Not only Kenyans, but let's talk about all parents. Let's gather here. And then I will narrow down to Kenya because I live in Kenya. Parents, gather here. Here's the question. Why do parents make mistakes and they want their children to rectify those mistakes for them? Why do parents make mistakes and they want their children or they burden their children to rectify those mistakes for them? You as a parent, me as a parent, and the other guy as a parent, we make mistakes and we want to burden their children or our children to rectify or correct our mistakes. What am I talking about? Let's come back to Kenya. Let's narrow down to my own country, Kenya. Let's come back to Kenya. There have been a series of mistakes that our parents have made. I'm talking about the political, in the political realm, yeah? There have been a series of what our parents have made. And they have left the burden to the children to do what? To rectify those mistakes. And they're still expecting another future or another generation from those children. And what the children are doing is life-threatening, like it's putting their lives at a risk. Yeah, some have lost their lives, and some are going to lose their lives rectifying the mistakes that their parents made. When it comes to politics in Kenya, we've never had a peaceful election so far. Never had a peaceful election so far since they started voting. We've never had a peaceful election. Or the only peaceful election that I've ever witnessed, I did not vote by that time, but I witnessed it. It was during the time Raila and Kibaki gang against Moi, and that was a peaceful election. And Kibaki took the presidency. But immediately after that, the next election was not peaceful; it was chaotic. Immediately after that election, the next election was chaotic. The next election was chaotic. The second presidency of Kibaki was chaotic. Going to Uhuru was chaotic. The second term of Uhuru was chaotic. Coming to Ruto, it's chaotic. And there's a probability, there's a very high probability, if things don't change, if our parents don't correct their mistakes now, the second election of Ruto will be somehow chaotic. It's only God who knows. For us, we can only speak of what we think will happen according to what is happening currently. Okay, let's come back. Why should your parents make mistakes and allow your children to rectify those mistakes for you to the expense of them losing their lives? Do you really want another generation? Do you really want to be called a grandmother or a grandfather? If you do, then you ought to make the right decisions. 2007 elections, those elections were mad or were brought or fueled by tribalism among our tribes. And how does a children know that? How does a child or children know that they are not from the other tribe to the other tribe? Probably it's the parents who do what? It's the parents who tell them, who teach them. It's not bad to let your people know or your children know where they come from. Everyone knowing their roots is the most important thing. It's good. But using that as a weapon, using your tribe or your tribal inclination as a weapon, not to give the other person opportunities, but to give the opportunities to yourself, thinking that that will help you, is the problem. You being a Kyuk, no problem. Me being Luya, no problem. Him being a Luo, no problem. Them being Campus, no problem. That's no problem. That's good because we need to know our roots. But using that as a weapon, me not to like the other person, not to vote the other person, not to give opportunity to the other person, that is the problem. And that is the real weapon. It's a time bomb that has a timer. It's not scientific. It's more a natural time bomb that has a timer and no one is really looking into it. And everybody wants to play part of it. So everybody's a perpetrator in that way. So parents, you taught your children, or you've taught us, to be tribal in nature. Even to the level of our faith, we still have churches that are meant to be for so and so, this tribe and that tribe and that tribe and that tribe. Meaning that there are tribes that are not allowed there. If they are allowed there, they cannot be in leadership. Leave alone the church, we'll talk about that one later. We're on politics. So you've taught your children not to like the other tribes. Very well. You have all the reasons to why. And believe me, most of those reasons might not be genuine, but just hearsay stories that someone came up with, manipulative stories that someone came up with, so that he can remain in power for the longest, because they believe they have majority of the numbers to make them maintain there. So to cement our leadership as a clan or as a tribe, we need to talk bad about the other tribe and tell our children how bad the parents and the grandparents of the other tribe did to our tribe, that we cannot allow this thing to go to their tribe, because if it does, their parents will still do the same thing to us, and we are afraid of that. So we put this on here. That is it. So 2027, 207, 2012, 2017, and 2022. Parents will be making wrong decisions. If you're a parent, you have been making a wrong decision, voting on the wrong side, and still expecting things to be better. Now, why am I talking about this? My reference is more on the GNC protest that happened last year. It was a very good move that young people were tired of the wrongs that their parents have done. They were tired of the decisions that their parents have done, and they said, we will stand for ourselves to rectify all these issues and all these problems. And to my surprise and that I never liked, parents came about praising their young people for doing that, something that they had never ever thought to do, or they are afraid to do. Like parents clapping for their children, risking their lives to save the very parent who made that wrong decision, and a parent celebrating. That one left me thinking and wondering. And that's why I said, today I just want to open up and talk about this. Nitaongea nitoke. That was the greatest disgrace ever, that I've ever seen. A parent celebrating a son or a daughter sacrificing their lives for the mistakes that the parent did. Which parent does that? Which parent does that? I think it should be parents correcting the messes that their children have done, not children correcting the messes that the parents have done. That one left me wondering, like, mbona wewe kama mzazi umefanya makosa ukaeka mwanao ama mtoto wako kwenye hali ambayo ni tatanishi. Mtoto wako ameshindwa na ile hali, anajaribu kujitoa kwa ile hali to the level that ana risk maisha yake, na wewe kama mzazi unampigia makofi ya risk maisha yake afe ili wewe ukombolewe. Does it make any sense? Parents, you're old enough. You have people like us who are old enough. You're in your 60s, you're in 70s, you're in your 80s, and you're celebrating as you are 20 years old, 16 years old, 17 years old, 20 years old, 30 years old, to 35 years old child is risking his life to save you, and you're celebrating. How now? How now? If there is anyone who has to give their life for the sake of these children, it's you. Mark you, whatever these children are going through or whatever is happening, it's you who made that decision for them. You made an informed decision for them based on your tribal inclination and your tribal misunderstandings and understandings that are not right. And you're celebrating. Let me ask you myself, if anything would have happened to those children in masses or in great numbers, would we have a generation in Kenya? Would we have the next generation in Kenya? Probably no, because most of you parents are not at a level where you can give birth again. Most of you parents are not at a level where you can give birth again. So losing all these young people at that age, that means losing the next generation. And if there is no next generation, then there is no a nation. Listen to me. If there's no next generation, then there's no a nation. So parents, you did what you did with whatever perverted understanding or knowledge that you had. Go make it right. Don't allow your children to go to the streets to fight for what you did that was not right. We need the next generation. A nation has to be there. And we cannot risk the lives of young people who are the future of the next generation to go on the streets to fight for you, for the wrongs that you did, as you're seated comfortably at home at that old age that is less productive, and risking a generation that is productive. So if there will be any other protests in this country, I would like to see our fathers and our mothers go to the streets, because they are the very people who made it look the way it is. I know this is an unpopular decision or opinion, but yes, I'll go for it. If there is any other protest, I would like to see parents go for it. Our fathers and mothers who made all these wrong decisions, go for it, while the next generation sits back at home to cheer them. Yes, daddy, do it. Hey, mzae, tupa hiyo tear gas. Tupa hiyo mawe. Yes, mom, fanya hivi. I would like to see that happen. And I know all our parents are heroes. Those who went to fight Mau Mau were not Gen Zs. They were not Gen Zs. So, I leave there for my part 1. Part 2 will be coming. But that is my opinion. That is my opinion. Parents, you need to wake up and fight for your children. Parents, you need to wake up and fight for your children. Don't let your next generation, don't let the bearers of your lineage be sacrificed on the altars that you yourselves prepared. Who will name you? Who will name you if that one happens? Don't let that one happen. Don't let it happen. That is my take from the Wisdom Desk. Bye.